Let things be exactly as they are. You can't change me, and you can't change God. So let things be exactly as they are. And you and me will live in peace. Kumbaya.
Wee doggies! You get a wee doggy in the...
Wee doggies!
Yay!
There's some weird doggies in
I
the
know.
room.
How's your Sunday going? We had a lovely homily today
This morning with Reverend Billy. That was great. I've
Yeah,
enjoyed the whole
Set
afternoon.
us all contemplating all whole day.
So we have so much to share today, and Glen has created a wonderful message, and I want him to be able to share it all because it's just really great. So we thought
We're going to be talking about the ego. We're going to spend 2 weeks talking about the part of why it's so helpful, like why believing in your thoughts is such a slippery slope, and how to get some traction on believing in your thoughts. Right? Because the believing in your thoughts creates an ego. The ego, like we learned today, is just basically another sense organ, like your hearing or anything else. If used properly, it can give you good information. If you think that's you, oh man, game is over, right? So the way to begin to recognize this is, who am I being here, right? So who am I being?
Very nice.
If you're doing the lessons,
we're on ACIM.org in the workbook lessons. So let's get to those. There we go.
There we go.
All right, so we're gonna start.
So let's start. We're on the 4th, so it's like 33. We're on the 33, 34 lesson. But I want to go back to lesson 27 where we left off, because we're beginning to come into why she wants to talk about the ego right now. Okay, because a week ago you said, above all else I want to see. Mm-hmm. So she's leading you to this, you might be interested in, or you don't know what you're going to look at, right? At this point, it's like, above all else I want you have to have an open mind and say, I'm willing to let go of all this other, I'm above all else I want to see, and the next one is fun.
Well, I just want to clarify for everyone if they're following along and they didn't know where we were. We're on A Course in Miracles workbook lesson number 27, and you can find that at acim.org and go to the workbook lessons, lesson 27. So we're going to do lesson 27 is above all else I want to see. Then the next day, 28 is above all else, I want to see things differently.
That is the conclusion you have. If you begin to see, you go, oh my God, there's much more here than I thought. There's much more that I don't know. It's humbling, isn't it, when you begin to wake up a little or see beyond to your own mistakes.
Yeah.
Right?
What I like about these 2 lessons is it says above all else. And so
what's your motive? What that speaks to a spiritual, or your intent, right? We talk about your spiritual intent.
And
aspiration.
Aspiration. So after that, lesson 29 is God is in everything I see. Absolutely.
Or is he?
No, but absolutely true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what, to me, the heart of the non-dual teaching is, is that God is in everything we see, and I even like, I think I can't remember who was talking about it. I think it was either Regina or Angelo. Inanimate objects, God is in everything I see. We call them inanimate objects. However, they have had life like we have, like we share with all living things before they become inanimate.
It's not made of something different than us.
Exactly.
I mean, it's like, how can that not be and we be? It's just like, it doesn't work.
I love it. God is in everything I see.
But
and lesson 30 is God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Yes. I love that.
We're reliving the first time we heard this lesson. We had so much fun with it.
Okay, lesson 31. The crux of the whole first 50 lessons
And if
to me.
it leads you, if you're doing the lesson, I remember when this lesson got up and it was like, oh, of course, I felt like I felt like I fell off a cliff. I felt like I followed down a waterfall. And the lesson is,
I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. Wonderful. Now,
I, victim, I, world, me, I see.
I am not the victim of the world I see. That is so pivotal. And we have a friend who is born.
This is her birthday.
This is her birthday lesson, and it happens every year. This is the lesson that comes up on her birthday every year, and so she's taken it and run with it, and it's really
getting the tattoo and everything.
It's really changed her life. This is such a
so what's your birth
pivotal
lesson?
lesson.
What's your birth lesson?
Yeah, you have to look it up.
Going.
I can just do I am not the victim of the world I see
Pretty much
over and over and over.
Yeah, you can get that. And it says if you do any of these lessons properly, that all work maximally.
Yeah. So the next lesson after that one is,
of course,
I have invented the world I see.
I'm inventing the world I see.
What a relief.
It could be, but you might be horrified at the responsibility that you now have to take for your own feelings.
And then lesson 33, there is another way of looking at the world. And 34, I could see peace instead of this. So we put the two together and we do a little song like this, which goes, there is another way of looking at the world. I could see peace instead of this. There is another way of looking at the world. I can see peace instead of this.
So we'll give that to you. We sing that. We sing that a lot of times and everything like that, especially when there's chaos around us. And we're like going, what in the world are these people looking at? You know?
So we're going to stop on today's lesson, which is lesson 35. My mind is part of God's. I am very holy.
Why she wants to talk about the part of you don't think is this way.
Mm.
You know?
Oh, look at this little, a suitable unselected list for applying the idea for today might be as follows. I see myself as imposed on. I see myself as oppressed. I see myself as endangered. I see myself as helpless. But even it says to look at the quote-unquote good qualities. I see myself as victorious. I see myself as charitable. I see myself as virtuous. But my mind is part of God's. I am very holy.
So you could see that's why the journaling and being onto how you feel, what is happening, and actually the reality of what you're looking at and how you see the world and being honest about what that is really important. Because you get on to your own kind of BS, you kind of run into, stumble over these same things again and again and again. You go, oh God, this sounds familiar, just in another form. And you let it go that much easier, right? And then maybe you see it a mile away and you go, oh my God, I can't believe I ever fell for that. Right? And so it also makes me able to forgive others for behaving badly really quickly. Because I know I've done some ignorant things in front of people I cared about. You know?
Oh well, so have I. But all is well. I can see peace instead of this.
What's the sing-along today, Siri?
Well, we're going to do...
I know it's a little sing-along, isn't it?
We are going to do an old hymn that you may know. I just love this hymn. I'm putting the lyrics in the chat.
And the guitar chords, so you can play along.
Of course. All right, so we're going to do this sing-along. And then we're going to do our prayer and music video that I wanted to share with you. Billy was so inspiring this morning, and he shared a freedom song, so I wanted to share one too. So
we're going to build on that too.
We are.
What freedom is, how to really have that freedom that he was talking about.
So if you'd like to sing with us, we are going to sing the first verse and chorus. We're going to sing it twice.
Sure.
And it is short, and this is a song that I think you all know. It is Well With My Soul. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, Thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, Thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul, with my soul. It is well with my soul. Oh, thanks for
Blast
singing.
from the past, bring back any memories.
Thanks for singing with us. Oh, all right. Let's have a little moment. Here we go. As we sit together in the stillness just for a moment, we co-create together this unconditional circle of love, where everything that we like and everything that we do not like is included. And we know, no matter what it is, we are well. It is well with my soul. May we today hear something differently. May we be committed to, above all else, I want to see things differently. And may we know the freedom that comes from that knowing. The knowing of truth, the releasing of illusion, the realization that our thoughts are not who we are. We celebrate. Today we celebrate our freedom. Blessed be. And so it is.
Every thought we think, every word we speak is creating our future.
You know my soul is singing. You know my soul is singing. For freedom. Yeah. Are you in charge of your life? Do you make it your own? Do you follow your heart? Yeah. This moment is your home. Do you see love all around you? And let compassion fill your soul. And feeling all of your sensations. We are free and we are whole. And so our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Or do you love to suffer? Are you comfortable with pain? Well, try living in the flow, in the state of well-being. And don't you worry about tomorrow. You just stay in the now. All is good if you can see it. It all works out somehow. So our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah.
All of us are on a journey. Love and appreciate who you are. We are divine, magnificent expressions of life. The universe loves gratitude. The more grateful you are, the more things you have to be grateful about.
Does your intuition guide you? Or do you lay awake at night? Do you believe in the power? Yeah. 'Cause you know it's your birthright. And in your moments of confusion, when you can't find the way, there's an answer deep inside you that puts you back in harmony. And so our thoughts create our freedom. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Freedom. Rock with me, baby. Yeah, yeah, soul is singing. You know my soul is singing for free.
chapter is all about what I call the discovery and recognition of our own inner animal. Because I want you to ask you to think about your ego a little bit as your animal mind. Okay, the one who wants to get ahead, who wants to be at the top of the pack, the one that doesn't want to starve, the one who's trying to get socially okay, the one who's trying to get laid. That animal part of you that you kind of need to have in order to exist in a society, right? You need to be able to run away from things that threaten your body, right? You need to be able to know what's poisonous and not poisonous, right? And you pay attention to who flutters your boat, who's rocking your world and things like that. Those kind of things are like the basic animal stuff that holds things together, like all this other stuff. And it's not to be feared, but it's also not us. It's not you any more than your hearing is you. Is what you hear you? When you hear a sound like the sirens going outside, do you lose your mind and become in complete fear when you hear a siren? No, because you know the difference between you and the siren and what it's doing and everything like that. It's a sound that appeared in your mind, and you don't believe it's all about you, that you're coming to get you. The siren is about your body coming apart. You don't think that at all. It'd be completely ridiculous. But we do that with our thoughts, don't we? We hear something, we think something in our head and go, oh! Can you notice when you do that? We spend 2 weeks looking at this. And when she says, when you're looking through the animal's eyes and you think it's you, you're looking through a dark mirror.
Yeah.
You're looking at a dangerous world out there, aren't you? And there's a lot of support in the world for you to believe that. So give yourself a break. There's a whole lot of world and media and books and literature and worldview that says that the world is dangerous. Don't kid yourself. But you can test out that theory. You can test it out. Reality isn't made up. It's called real for a reason. So the image I want to give you is of a dark mirror. To have everything kind of the mirror in which everything looks kind of sinister, kind of untrustworthy. It's the dark mirror, right?
Or is in 1 Corinthians 13 refers to it as looking through the glass darkly.
Okay, and I'm gonna mention that a little bit later. So, what we got here? Can you? Here we go. Oh no. Here we go. It's chapter 4, The Illusions of the Ego, section 5, This Need Not Be. Okay, good news, right? Chapter 4, The Illusions of the Ego, or like what I call your animal mind, your animal nature, the animal that is, this.
So once again, Course in Miracles, chapter 4, The Illusions of the Ego, section 5 in our book. The section is called This Need Not Be.
Yeah, I use the PDF, so your sections might be.
All right, first paragraph. If you cannot hear the voice for God, it is because you do not choose to listen.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with, isn't it? It's like, how many times has your mother said, I've been calling you, how many times has your mother said that to you?
That's hilarious. Oh my goodness, I love it. If you cannot hear the voice for God, it is because you do not choose to listen. That you do listen to the voice of the ego is demonstrated by your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior. Was I just read? I was just read.
Attitudes, yeah. What are the three?
Attitudes, feelings, and behavior.
What do you need to look at? What do the ego thinks it is?
Attitudes, feelings, and behavior.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think you are?
Do you think you're a feeling, an attitude, or a behavior?
Okay. That you do not listen to the voice of your ego that you do listen to the voice of your ego is demonstrated by your attitudes, your feelings, and your behavior. Yeah, this is what you want. This is what you are fighting to keep and what you are vigilant to save. Your mind is filled with schemes to save the face of your ego, and you do not seek the face of Christ. The glass in which the ego seeks to see its face is dark indeed. How can it maintain the trick of its existence except with mirrors? But where you look to find yourself is up to you.
How about that? Where you look to find yourself is up to you.
Yeah.
There's only one right answer, but you can look wherever you want. No one's stopping. No one standing in your way of you believing or experiencing anything you want in whatever order that you want to learn whatever lessons are in your way. And I guarantee that whatever's right in front of you is the best thing that's happened for you. But how we look at things determines the actions we're going to take. And she is very clearly, she asks you to observe your feelings, attitudes, and behaviors.
Yeah.
And say, is this really who you want to be? Is this really who you say you are? Do your words match your deeds? And all of these things. And be honest to yourself about your schemes to save your face. That's pretty huge.
It is.
That's an entire life. That has been my entire life. Tell me that you haven't spent a lot of time in your life saving face.
Oh gosh, what's an example of that in your life? Because I'm just trying to think.
There's a girl who will not say hello to me.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're trying to change someone. Yeah. Yeah. I've always looked at myself as an artist, and I'm trying to release all of my.
As good as your last show.
Yeah, you're only good as your last show, something like that. And this last line of this paragraph really addresses that for me. But where you look to find yourself is up to you.
Is it in the world? Is it in your thoughts? Is it in your accomplishment? Is it in who likes you? Mm-hmm. Is it in the things people say about you? It's good to find out, right? It's just good to find out.
Yeah, I've really had a hard time with that.
A lot of us have.
Mm-hmm. Let me bring this back up.
Okay. So the reminder here is, conscious or not, this is exactly the way you want it. You brought everything here that's happening in our world. It is our experience because we asked for it, we worked for it, and worked very hard for what is here before us to do. That is like to be able to take responsibility and be in the moment, want to be deep in the moment to make the right decision now because I know how important and powerful I am. That's a really good thing. That's a really good place to be. It's like, oh, I've been giving away my power all this time. The reminder is, conscious or not, that this is what you want. So you could be really bringing. So what could you bring to yourself if you had conscious ability to bring to you what you wanted? Oh, my vigilance is what I'm being asked to look at here. Oh, you want to wake up, or you want a better life, or you even want less suffering. Really? Are you really going to look at what you're doing and saying and all this other stuff? And look at even other things? When we see through the ego, she calls this a dark mirror, and that's a direct reference to 1 Corinthians 13.
Yeah, it refers to seeing through a glass darkly,
as being when you're not letting the voice that likes you or your authenticity run the show, and you're doing a performance.
Yeah,
you're in the mirror darkly. Second paragraph.
Okay, here we go. And we're on paragraph 2. There's a lot here.
So that's the premise, right? Multitudes versus one. Perfect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So
let's take a look.
Okay. Second paragraph says, when your mood tells you that you have chosen wrongly, and this is so whenever you are not joyous, then know this need not be. Think honestly what you have thought that God would not have thought. Now that's interesting. Think honestly what you have thought that God would not have thought, and what you have not thought that God would have you think. That's kind of funny. Search sincerely for what you have done and left undone accordingly, and then change your mind to think with God's. Your mind is one with God's. Denying this and thinking otherwise has held your ego together, that has literally split your mind.
My mind is one with God's is one of the lessons.
Yes.
The text tracks with the lessons for this very reason. She wants to talk about why we don't act like it. Why we don't trust the God that's in our mind. Why we don't trust reality and we think we're going to be manipulating things out here that are going to create an experience when what is out here is a reflection of our beliefs. This need not be. Like, right, you're looking and experiencing all this other stuff. This need not be, right? Because we're not doing the operating system correctly. We're not using the learning device correctly. Step out of thinking of yourself as an ego, as a thought machine. The request here is to be sensitive to your moods. What would God think? What would Jesus do in this situation? You ever see those bracelets? Yeah. It's a good reminder. It's a good reminder. Who am I? Am I being authentic? Am I being who I am? Am I showing up and being present and being the most, me I can possibly, do without share the at the highest level I know would be. So the reminder here is you can feel it now as I begin to talk, that joy is your default setting. That if you're not doing the joyful thing, you're not having fun, and it's mine to do, and you're alive and enthusiastic about what you're supposed to do in the world, we say that a lot, then what are you doing? Really? What are you doing? Oh, you're probably depressed. Probably mad because you can't do what you want to do. All kinds of reasons like that, right? If you're not joyous and excited about what is yours to do and the way that it is led, and it's a sharing, authentic, joyous experience. If you're not experiencing that, ask and look at why and what you're doing and what you're thinking that keeps you not doing that. And the beliefs and attitudes, feelings and moods that keep you from doing that.
Ooh, I'm doing that on a minutia level. I'm looking at every little, I really kind of am. I'm looking at every little situation I find myself in.
It's not like good advice.
I think so. Yeah.
So, all right. So I'm going to ask her to read, and this is unusual as well. I'm going to ask her to read paragraphs 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're short. They short and they go together, but she brings us to the next level. So keep going.
When you are sad, know this need not be. Depression comes from a sense of being deprived of something you want and do not have. Remember that you are deprived of nothing except by your own decisions, and then decide otherwise. Wow. When you are anxious, realize that anxiety comes from the capriciousness of the ego, and know this need not be. You can be as vigilant against the ego's dictates as for them. When you feel guilty, remember that the ego has indeed violated the laws of God, but you have not. Leave the sins of the ego to me. That is what atonement is for. But until you change your mind about those whom your ego has hurt, the atonement cannot release you. While you feel guilty, your ego is in command, because only the ego can experience guilt. This need not be. I have to read this again. Until you change your mind about those whom your ego has hurt, repeating the key, the atonement cannot release you. While you feel guilty, your ego is in command, because only the ego can experience guilt. This need not be. And watch your mind for the temptations of the ego, and do not be deceived by it. It offers you nothing. When you have given up this voluntary dispiriting, you will see how your mind can focus and rise above fatigue and heal.
Good news.
Wow, that is great news. Yet you are not sufficiently vigilant against the demands of the ego to disengage yourself.
This need not be. You can be sufficiently vigilant. Right? You can, I love this. So, watch your mind. Well, she says, watch our shared mind. Did you get that? Watch the shared mind. You are actually deprived of nothing. And the way I like to say this is it gets kind of around the stick in my craw. Oh, what do you need? I have everything up. I have everything I need right now to make the next decision to move into a greater peace. I mean, I do everything. She gives you homework. Did you take down the notes? Did you get homework at the end of class? Okay. The homework is you can be as vigilant for or against illusion. You can work as strive and spend your whole life serving truth as you conserve illusion. And here's the cool part. Change your mind about those your ego has hurt. Why? Because when you feel guilty, you leave the world.
Oh, look, Shauna, thank you. She's looked up the word capricious. Capricious, characterized by sudden, unpredictable changes in attitude or behavior. Sounds like ego, yes.
Right, because you change the story no matter who you're talking to. You ever catch somebody who changes the story no matter who they're talking to?
Mm-hmm.
See? That's what I mean. It's like, but you're onto it. You're like, oh, that's so funny. This is like, I want to spin this. I want to manipulate somebody because I don't trust, what's happening here. It's like, oh man, you do too. Because you trust the ego to make it completely awful so you don't have to wake up. Right? So you can follow your thoughts and make up excuses and everything like that and have a whole big old life chasing down all the people who wronged you. You can make a life like that.
Oh,
the world will let you do that.
That's certainly true. David is in the room and he's saying, man, I never tell the same story twice.
See, it's like again, and we can laugh because we go, "Oh, I know, it's so funny." But we know mostly that we're not the person telling this story that needs something better, right? We know we're mostly not that person,
right?
This is because the recognition of ourselves. There's some of the ego stuff that we like, and there's some of the ego stuff that we don't like, and that's what she's trying to get us to think. It's none of it's good for us. It's all poison, even the parts that you like or even work for you. So. Keep going.
Okay.
Change your mind about those that your ego has hurt. And the reminder is only the ego experiences guilt. So this is the method we stay out and get busy and things like that.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to the text. Okay. Paragraph 7. The habit of engaging with God and His creations is easily made if you actively refuse to let your mind slip away. That's fantastic. Somebody else today was talking about getting lost in thought. It might have been you, Shauna. And this is speaking directly to that. The habit of engaging with God and His creations is easily made if you actively refuse to let your mind slip away. Above all else, I want to see things differently. The problem is not one of concentration. It is the belief that no one, including yourself, is worth consistent effort.
Really beautiful effort. That's really beautiful understanding.
Yeah, let me get that last phrase again. The problem is not one of concentration. It is the belief that no one, including yourself, is worth consistent effort.
That's the sneaky part of the I am bad belief. It's like the sneaky part of this I can't wake up. The sneaky part of I'm still the ego, so I'm never going to get what I want, so why even try? Right? It's like, but you're not waking, your ego's not going to wake up. The part of you that thinks that you're the ego is not going to be the part that's going to be like saying, oh, I'm okay, and whatever's happening in front of me is okay. The ego's never going to be like, I'm okay with what's happening. Okay? That's not, it's got an opinion. It's supposed to have an opinion. Does this smell good? Is this poisonous? Is this going to be good? So it's like, come on, be on to yourself. So the habit she wants you to have conscious engagement with God as His creations. Don't go to sleep in your conscious engagement with God and His creations. Do not let your mind slip away from yourself, right? Because you're the one slipping away. Mm. Our conscious attention is worth a consistent effort. I swear you will find some really powerful tools and beautiful treasures if you will be consistent with the effort. Make it your life to be happy, joyous, and free, worth your time. Know why you are here. The request to get to this and keep this motivation is because why are you here? Is it to win this game the ego is trying to do? This is creating versus the transaction world. Remember we talked about last week, we talked about living in a transactional world? The fundamental misunderstanding of us as separate people and what the world is and how it works, transactional versus reflective. It's reflective because it's creative. Know what you're here for. What is mine to do? And side against deception. You don't have to change it. You don't have to fight it. You just have to go, oh, I'm just being deceived again. Or I can see through that. You don't have to change it. You don't have to bash ego. You don't have to you don't have to drag ego into the light. Stuff can happen. Or the correction, all this. So keep going. Keep going. It's beautiful.
Drag the ego into the light. I don't think we can do that. All right, hold on.
Here we go.
Have you really considered how many opportunities you have had to gladden yourself? Gladden yourself. I love that. And how many of them you have refused? There is no limit to the power of a son of God, but he can limit the expression of his power as much as he chooses. So it's our choice.
She says it's a belief that you're not worth it. You're not happy or joyous and free because you don't believe that work being consistently here is worth it.
Okay, watch your mind carefully for any beliefs that hinder its accomplishment and step away from them. The ego should be brought to judgment and found wanting there.
Truly.
Without your own allegiance, protection, and love, the ego cannot exist. Let it be judged truly, and you must withdraw allegiance, protection, and love from it.
Because it's no more you than your sense of smell is, or your sense of hearing is, or your sense of touch is. It just gives you basic information. But when we pour our identity into this, it creates an ego. It creates a need that I have to defend, and the world is dangerous. She's asking you to really see that are you looking through this mirror of your physical self darkly into this beautiful world darkly, and when you do, you really just shut your power off. Shut your realization off, shut your ability to understand and share completely off. Do you want to limit your power? That's how it is done. By believing you exist and interact through your body. You don't. You get information from it. Watch your mind carefully, she says, and remove allegiance and your protection for this body and love for the preferences of your animal self. Remove your allegiance and protection and love from your preferences for your animal self. That doesn't mean you don't like and don't like what you do, because you do. If you could be allergic to things and all kinds of stuff. But it's not you, and when it happens or doesn't happen doesn't mean anything about you. The reminder here, there is no limit to your expression. If that's true, then there is no limit to what you can look like, be accomplished. So there's no limit to what is yours to do. If it's yours to do, it is yours. And it can't be taken away if we'll take responsibility for how powerful we are. There is no limit to your expression. Just the choices in which you do it. And she makes a promise that doing this unites you with the one mind. And this uniting with the one mind feels like strength. Authenticity feels like strength. Knowing who you are and knowing what is yours to do feels like strength. Not like the ego, which is manipulative and worried and stressful and thinks the world is dangerous.
Wow. I just literally right here had a...
Yolanda just popped free, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, just right this second. That's so funny. Wow. I want to get back to that line, because that was like, okay. Wow.
There's no limit to your expression, just your choice.
Choices.
And the promise is this is the action of uniting with one mind. This uniting with one mind is our authenticity. This authenticity feels like strength.
Yeah.
Instead of this little being with a beginning, middle, and an end, and an ego, and a name, and a history, and who did me wrong, and how I have to get even with him, and all that stuff.
Oh man.
So keep going.
Okay, paragraph 9. You are a mirror of truth in which God Himself shines in perfect light.
Get that tattoo on, on the back, on your eyelids.
You are a mirror of truth. That's beautiful. You are a mirror of truth.
Song lyrics.
Okay, I'll write a song. You are a mirror of truth in which God Himself shines in perfect light. To the ego's dark glass you need but say, quote, I will not look there because I know these images are not true. Ta-da. Your ego cannot prevent him from shining on you. But it can prevent you from letting him shine through you.
You just know where this is going. You know exactly where this is going. You probably finished the sentence yourself, didn't you? Yeah?
That was pretty funny.
So this is you are the mirror of the truth. Take that in. The truth is we are God's perfect light. Can you act like it? Really? You're God's perfect light. You could act like it if you believed it. You'd believe it if you had consistent effort trying to act like it. And if you had consistent effort trying to act like it, you know how authentic and powerful you were. And if you understood how authentic and powerful you were, you would be a strong force in the world for creating joy in yourself and others and the place to experience it.
Wow, sounds like a spiritual aspiration to me.
The reminder is that we can limit only God through shining through us. We're limiting God's ability to shine through us, our conscious participation in this creation. We're limiting that. And she calls that God shining through us. Paragraph 10.
Wait a second, I gotta sing this again. You are a mirror of truth in which God Himself shines. I like that. You are a mirror of truth in which God Himself shines in perfect light. I love it. Okay, so the last there's two more paragraphs. The first coming of Christ is merely another name for the creation, for Christ is the Son of God. The second coming of Christ means nothing more than the end of the ego's rule and the healing of the mind.
Same thing.
It is.
Right.
End of the ego's rule is the healing of the mind. You're putting the two together, yeah. I was created like you in the first, and I have called you to join with me in the second.
Join with me! Join with me! Hey, yo, come over to the second coming! Get out of your body! It's better in here, better over here!
And the last thing she wants to say in this is, I do not attack your ego. I do work with your higher mind, the home of the Holy Spirit, whether you are asleep or awake, just as your ego does with your lower mind, which is its home.
Which is why doing the lessons or your habits are so important. She goes, examine your habits. What are your habits? How consistent are you? How dedicated are you? Are you really doing this? Look at your habits.
Yeah, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be A Course in Miracles, but
it's what you'll do.
Your practice, Your mind will elect to join with mine, and together we are invincible. You and your brother will yet come together in my name, and your sanity will be restored.
What good news.
I do not believe that there is an order of difficulty in miracles.
But you do.
I have called and you will answer. I understand that miracles are natural because they are expressions of love.
And they're expressions of love in your love, right? In your love, and love is what reality is. So if expressions of love, that's us in reality. It's all begins. See this. Why do we want to participate in the creation of our own experience of suffering? End the ego's rule already. When you do, your mind heals. It's just the ego's rule, right? All decisions are made through the ego.
Yeah.
Well, are they? Can you take a few of them back? Can you take one a day back?
Oh, right. If you're...
That's a habit. It's the desire and the focus is like, oh, I want to do better. I believe I can do better. I share the mind with God. I'm going to begin to try to act like it. Higher mind. Home of the Holy Spirit. That's a real sociology term. Higher mind, lower mind. And that's why I use the idea of the animal for like the ego. It's the lower mind. There's nothing wrong with the lower mind. You need the lower mind to tell you when it's time to go to the bathroom. You know, please get up when you need to pee so you don't like soil yourself and stuff like that. That's just in public. That's quite embarrassing, and that's a really good thing. If you're pooping your pants in public as a 60-year-old man, then getting embarrassed is a good thing to happen to you. This is what do I need to do to not embarrass myself in public? That's the function of your lower mind. It's nothing to be afraid of. You do not have to be afraid of your lower mind. You have to be afraid of believing that you're the lower mind. Believing you're the ape wrapped around a lizard. You're not. So let me read this. I'm going to read you what I want you to walk away with. The biggest obstacle that the Course in Miracles identifies with the biggest obstacle that the Course identifies with suffering is the idea that we are a separate, alive thing that was born, suffered, laughs, and dies. The Course likens this to living in a dark mirror where you can never be happy or fulfilled for very long. We're asked to look at the problems we're trying to solve. Solving them promises to bring sought-after relief. The remedy that the Course offers is to diligently look at what we think is accomplishing anything and everything. How did we get here? We listen to the ego, or the animal mind, the survival mind, etc. That's not us. That's the part of the learning device that we're working with in this chapter. The Course says that we can be on to our mind wandering and storytelling. Did you hear that? We can be on to ourselves. Yeah. The Course wants us to be honest about the ways that we think we're attempting happiness and begin to listen to a different way of being. We turn inward and begin to listen to a voice that likes us. We feel lighter, freer, and more capable to do what is ours to do. Knowing ourselves feels like strength. A strength we can offer to the one mind to do what is ours to do. I'm Reverend Glen Ganaway, your favorite anarchist preacher. I'm here with the love of my life, the Reverend Yolanda. I want you to remember to listen to the voice that likes you, because she will tell you that we are one, and she will tell you how to act like it. Stay tuned.
Thanks everybody for joining us. We love you. And